So I work at Amazon. I'm actually part of the Ops Tech IT team, which is just like operations IT. Aside from that, I just pretty much game. I'm at home with my fiance and 4 cats, and taking care of our newborn son.
We are here today for the Corporate Esports Association Overwatch 2020 Spring Playoffs. It is going to be a spectacular day. I'm through most of it, only does get one as the Blizzard comes out on the backside. T also going to find the Deadeye onto Specs on the high ground. Google has to press on the pedal to try and touch this point, and they're not! Oh, it comes up short. Amazon Fire Force will be able to take Volskaya Industries.
CEA to me is like an organization that pulls together a lot of these like top companies around the world. I think it's like a great team building function, and then also it's for a great cause. It's for charity.
And since Zoom ever showed up in the top lane, they're immediately going to go for the dive in the mid lane with the damage onto Pandora. You're going to be able to pick up the kill. Twice over for Apocalypse. Everyone else is going to be running for the hills. Nobody wants to be able to join in this fight. With the minions there, the Baron's still on everybody. This is going to be the grand finals for Team Amazon Stock Dip. They've got the money, $5,000 for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. They have secured it for themselves with a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, so like losing to Adobe was like pretty heartbreaking. I got like the second place trophy in the mail. I'll see it like every day, and like it's like a reminder, like you have to do better. You always have to like somebody out there is better than you. Like you should always try to be the best. But like we're definitely gonna come back way stronger, way better. We don't want to drop another game during the season. We definitely don't want to lose in grand finals.
Adobe Illustrators taking this next map.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Corporate Esports Association. My name is JakeyBoyPro. I am joined on the left of me, or on the right hand side of your screens, he's on my left, the one, the only ReaperSteve. How you doing?
Hello, hi everyone. I'm good, Jakey. Thank you very much for asking. It feels good to be sat next to you again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Virtually.
Well, I say it's been a while. It's been about a month for us, but it's a very rare occasion in which we actually get to sit down and cast together. But the matchup that we have coming up today, Checkpoint versus Red Hat, or Checkpoint Securing B versus DE_RHEL. How are you going to say that? Let's get agreed on this. How are we saying that name?
I'm just going to go straight in for Red Hat.
Red Hat? Okay, that works for me. That's perfect.
Yeah, that way then we're like Checkpoint Red Hat rather than being like...
Yeah. Okay, that works. That works. Makes it easier.
Otherwise.
Yeah. So we will be watching Red Hat versus Checkpoint this evening. We were going to be covering a different game, but they asked that we not cover their game and not cast it. And we're wondering whether a few of the players were feeling a little bit insecure of their skill. But we do have the map vetoes in. The first game is going to be actually on Inferno, Steve. Now, so what do you think we're going to be seeing coming out of these teams going into this first map?
I mean, Inferno is one of those maps where if you don't get decent side control from a CT perspective, and you don't get your advanced side control. And what I mean by that is if you're holding B side, for example, pushing that little bit extra forward, getting yourself back where Taxi is, obviously completely different names now, but I'm old school CS, so bear with. If you get into those sort of positions where you can get an advance notice on Banana as to who's pushing up on Banana, perfect. If you don't get that advanced notice position, you don't get that little bit of extra grace time, that extra grace period, then you're going to have massive issues holding sites like that. So I think from a CT standing point, you've got to have your sites locked down properly. You've got to know exactly what you're trying to lock down and how you're trying to hold and secure those sites. I think from a T side perspective, you've got to get those rotations in early. We've seen time and time before with many different tournaments where you have a side which will start a B push, realize that they're mismatched on B and they can't really push it because there's too much of a good defense there, and they take too long on that rotation back down through mid. And you tend to find like a lot of teams will suffer as a result of that. So I'd be interested to see what we can get from the first map. Obviously, it's a best of 3, so we potentially could be going to map 3, which is Nuke. We have to get to Overpass first, of course. So we'll figure out where we lay, what the lay of the land is after map 1.
Yeah, well, it is certainly going to be interesting coming into this first map of Inferno. As you do say, we do move on to Overpass's map 2. Another not so much heavy utility usage map as is the rest of the Puggy maps in the current map pool. But we're going to see probably a lot more on Overpass when we do go to it. We're going to see a lot more of those individual players step up as we are used to seeing on Overpass. We're going to see those players who like to lurk, like to try and just get behind the enemies and create those flanks that are really going to cause some ripples in the game plans that these teams already have set and planned out.
Yeah, exactly. And you would imagine that these teams are most likely going to have sort of time where they prep prior to this, where they can sit down together and be like, right, okay, well, if we end up pushing a B site, but the B site is well defended, this is the rotation that we're going to take. This is how we're going to push ourselves back down from mid. This is how we're going to get ourselves onto A site. Or, the flip side of it being, right, okay, we need you and you are strong on A, you and you are strong on B. This guy's kind of strong either side. He's going to be a rotation player from mid to A or mid to B. You'd imagine they've done a lot of pre-planning for this. I'd like to think so, at least anyway. If they're anything like I used to be with my own tournaments, my own tournament schedule, we would spend a couple of hours in the week, albeit after work, to chill out together and play a couple of pub games and kind of figure out weaknesses and strengths, and kind of pick apart what's good about gameplay and what's bad about gameplay from each other.
Yeah. And I'm hoping we haven't actually seen these teams face off against each other in the regular season. The other matchup that we were going to be covering was going to be a rematch, and we're going to be seeing whether one of the teams could exact revenge on their opposing team for that loss that they had in the regular season. But now this team, we're coming into it, and we don't have any information on what sort of plays we're going to be able to seeing coming out of these teams, Steve?
Yeah, and looking back over sort of information that you and I have kind of sat down and poured ourselves into since finding out that we were going to be helping the Corporate Esports Association. I can see from your handwriting, at least anyway, if I can read it, it's like a doctor's handwriting, so I have to bear with. These guys obviously said they haven't played against each other before. The winner of this match will go on to face Amazon Wallbang Services. I do like that name.
It's a very nice name. Very nice name.
It is, yeah. Who finished second in the regular season, losing only one of their games to the top dogs, LinkedIn. Again, I do dinked. Dinked. Okay, all right. See,
it's LinkedIn, but Dinkton.
It's LinkedIn, but Dinkton. I get it. Yeah. I'm. I see that. There's a lot of really good names, by the way. I'm really liking the sort of play on words that a lot of these guys have done with their team names. So I'm interested to see what we can see more of over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I think from two teams that haven't really played against each other, it's going to be a lot of fact finding between the two of them, if that makes sense. You're going to find maybe the first 5-6 rounds are quite slow, maybe not as entertaining as what people would want to see, but for us as commentators and for the players, those 5-6 rounds are actually rounds where you learn the most about a team. They're the rounds that you go, well, they're actually really good at defending this particular site, or this guy is actually very good at rotation plays to get himself to back up two weaker players that are on this site. If we're quick enough and we push this site quickly, we can dominate the fact they're weaker on it and maybe catch up the middleman as he pushes through. Or the flip side of it of these guys are pushing A every single round that stack on B because they're going to go B this round. Those are the type of rounds that we're actually dealing with, those first 5-6 rounds that we're watching. So I think it'll be interesting to see how both teams compete, but I know also both teams have got EU players. I think, or at least one of the teams have got EU players. One team
definitely has EU players, as they were asking for Chicago as the server, which we did see in the background whilst everything was going on.
So I do think it'll be interesting to see what the players like with ping issues as well, because that again is another big sort of factor into it. I'm just getting information coming in now.
We should be going into game, surely.
Yeah, exactly. That Red Hat. Okay, so we've been told the full name of them. Red Hat Enterprise Linux. They're going to be on CT site.
And there they are.
There you go. And we are on CT site. That actually makes more sense now. DE being the map name / map choice. And then RHEL. There you go.
Big nades coming in early. Oh, a lot of damage already done onto this checkpoint side now, as they're going to be poking towards the speed bomb site, not even slowing down for that smoke, and already losing 3 players and already down to just the only Dream Walker. Is the only Dream Walker.
Hopefully this will be a dream for him to try and come through with, but a 1v5, you don't really expect to see it.
Especially with these two already on the flank, working their way towards Banana, and there it is. Quick first round coming out for Red Hat there.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of felt like a throwaway round for them. You know what I mean? In the sense of like, okay, let's push the site and see what they're defending with. That's the tricky situation with pistol rounds, and I think a lot of people will agree with me, is that when you're on pistol and you're playing against a team that you don't really know much about, it's harder to kind of like, it's harder to kind of win those pistol rounds and get enough information from it.
Yeah, we're seeing a quick rush coming out towards this A-bomb site, already losing 3 players now. That's
big.
That's huge. Well, I think while True Fork and Frave, or how does he say his name? Farave, getting 5 kills between themselves, and a lot of bonus money coming out, because Farave had a MP9 or a Mac 10 coming into that round, and not a Mac 10, a MP7. I think, and it just instantly 3 kills, $118, $1,800. I promise I can do math. Trying to focus on 3 different things at once is a little bit tricky, but I'll warm into it, I promise.
It is, that kind of weapon is your money spinner, especially if you're going to go into a round where T's are more likely to be saving as a result of deficit on that round. That MP7, it doesn't cost a lot, but it can spew up quite a lot of rounds, and it can get you a lot of good economy back from it.
Yes, now we see the first real gun round coming into play. Not much utility for this checkpoint side. Few AKs across the board, and just that one Galil on Reese. Very interesting name. Reese, maybe, is his real name. Just likes the little Z on the end to differentiate himself from the crowd, as now we see them perusing towards this A-bomb site slowly but surely, making their way towards the mid-cross. And now Nox is here, he's waiting, he's got this MP7 in his hands, and oh, the timing is just a little bit off. Throws that nade and just takes a bullet to the face from Dreamwalker once again.
Yeah, you do match up quite nicely, AK, on that. You know, you're going to win a fight against them for the AK. I feel more so in the last couple of weeks, the last match or two for the game. You're always going to win those sort of fights, but Dreamwalker is just continuing it basically and going, right, okay, well, this is our site, we're locking it down. They didn't really clear site in full though. They still had an extra CT that was just sat there waiting for more damage to push his direction. This is game over as far as Red Hat are concerned. Checkpoint look to secure the first round. I mean, 4 rounds into it with 2-1 at the moment. I mentioned earlier on before the games kind of started that we would probably see these being quite slowish rounds. And I'm completely wrong, because both teams are just going, well, let's play. Let's see what it is. My understanding, if I'm not mistaken, is that I know at least with Red Hat, they are a mix of Gold Novas, some Supreme Silvers as well also. So from a matchmaking perspective, not the highest of ranks, coming into this. So...
yeah, that's the
like
thing.
A pub game?
Yeah, that's the thing with, I'd imagine, these corporate teams, is they're not going to have the big hitters that you'd expect from standard pre-made CSGO teams and other esport title teams. You're always going to have that mix. You're going to have that mix of skill, the mix of knowledge, the mix of just general information on how to play the game, as we see Masalado turn away from that flash, timed perfectly and managing to pick up that kill with the MP9, an extra $600, and he's trying to get away with his life and get spotted out by Weeb Trash. Now trying to find that kill with the AK. The flash is perfect from Masalado.
Lovely. Just beautifully timed. We were saying that there's going to be a mixture of sort of abilities and understandings of the game, and we're seeing some very good pop flashes. We're seeing some very good use of utility, which is nice to look at. We try to pick up Mastodon even, but Nox is there to retort and takes one of his own against Ryan, and it's now Reese in a 1v3.
Yeah, that bomb is dropped towards Boiler, and he's got a Galil and no utility to try and win this round back with. We've got Nox here watching the cross in apartments. Reese doesn't even check it, he just goes walking on by, and that's going to be an easy pick up for Nox as we see Red Hat taking quite an early advantage into this first game, 3 rounds to 1.
Yeah, he's able to trade up as well and get himself an M4, and that's going to be very, very nice for his teammates, at least anyway. Yeah, that's the other thing that a lot of players tend to mix up with, especially if you're looking at it from a matchmaking perspective. Players won't trade up. If they've got a FAMAS in matchmaking, you'll often find that they'll stick with the FAMAS even though they could potentially pick up like an M4 or an AK. You know, having that extra mindset of going, I'll pick this up so I can drop it for a buddy, it actually makes a lot more sense utility-wise. See, that as well also is exactly what I was on about. If you're not holding Banana from a CT side perspective, you give a lot of ground for the T's to work with.
Yeah, they've already got all this map control, all this information, and now all they need to do is just have one player stay here, and they've got this entire side of the map pinned down, and we're already seeing that one rotation player already make his way over to the B-bomb site now. He's going to be boosted up by, or one of them's going to be boosted up. It was actually .exe. I don't know what those symbols mean at the front, so I'm not even going to make an estimate to a guess. Maybe you can come up with a fun name instead for us, Steve, as we still see some of this B control is staying here, and just it's a very interesting split they've got going on here, the checkpoint side.
Yeah, it is. Lost the drop advantage. Oh, okay. That's actually a really good push there from Frave to get that frag onto mid. It also plays out quite a lot of intel for them, knowing that the rotation's already started to make its way towards Nox, and Nox just finishes off that rotation immediately. As far as checkpoint is concerned,
yeah,
this is what we were talking about before as well, the late game rotation. You know, that's what's kind of killed this off, if I'm honest with you. They didn't really make much of an impact into the push into B. You know, they kind of held up quite a bit in the sense of how fast they could push into the site itself. You lose 2 numbers as they push in, or one number at least anyway, as they push into it, and all of a sudden you're kind of stagnant and you don't really know where to go with it. The rotation starts to play its way down towards mid. It gets somewhat of the way there, but they're picked up quite easily by Frave and Nox. And then all of a sudden you're sat there as Kuo going, well, I don't know what to do here, do you know what I mean? He's IGL in fairness, so he's got no choice really but to pull back and not do anything with it.
I've just been informed that .exe's name is actually Tobias, so we'll refer to him as Tobias for the very near future and for the rest of this game. So we'll be seeing how well Tobias and his team of Red Hat can actually do going forward into this game. A nice 3-round advantage early on. Economy is in their favour, and a full eco coming out for the checkpoint side here as they're trying to make something work with this singular AK, and flashes on him on QO, and Reese with a bit of armour and the P250. Don't think he's going to be able to do much with it as we jump on board, and Farave picks up 2 quick easy kills with that M4 in hand. QO managing to pick up one of his own. Is this going to be the saviour that Checkpoint need to get back into this round? The singular Soul AK? No, it's not, as he goes down to Tobias right there, and all onto Dreamwalker once again. I think Dreamwalker is actually most likely looking like the lurker for his team, always being alive in these situations, not really adding much impact into this game so far.
Yeah, it's, you know, for me at least anyway, looking at this play as we're watching it now, yeah, if I'm Dreamwalker, I'm just going to lose that P250. There's no point in keeping it. Ooh, gets a frag by us. Can you get a second? No. Not enough damage done there, so... Well, no damage done, in fact, actually, on Massalone. So we'll see what happens. I mean, that's a really awkward round from Checkpoint's perspective, right? You know, Kyo with the only person with a gun. Everyone else is buying up every single round. They're not really buying into their... they're not really playing into an eco round as such. Yes, they've got loss bonus to work with, but realistically, is that something that you want to continue to work with? You know?
We can see...
For me... Sorry.
We can see the economy issues starting to come out now, as we see already Dreamwalker, he had about 5,400 at the start of the round, and opts for the MP5 And somehow the rest of his team make this work. Again, playing Lurk on this, holding for the rotation from this B-bomb site.
That could be, though, that he's waiting to buy all. That's the only thing I could think of if he's buying that cheaply into the round, is that he's waiting to buy a ball. I don't know if, reading through the players, I don't think anyone's really popped themselves out as an AWPer as such. No, we don't really have a lot of information, unfortunately.
No,
for Checkpoint.
I'm sure we'll find out eventually when somebody picks one up. But
yeah.
Checkpoint are not going down without a fight. They took that round with relative ease, not really taking much damage, only Reese taking a small amount of damage on that entry frag that he picked up on mid. And now nothing holding them back from going further into this game, and Dreamwalker actually manages to upgrade from that MP5. Now, it was being hunted down by Mesalado, but just about gets away with his life.
He's lucky there. I mean, like, he started immediately celebrating, spraying into the stained glass window, and that could have gone pear-shaped very, very quickly for him, but he got away with it nonetheless. And a good round from Checkpoint. A weird buy into the round, if that makes sense. Like a very weird sort of economy-wise round for them, but they made it work. They upgraded where they could. Yeah, we're seeing now a full buy round for them, essentially, where they've got AKs and utility to work with to push aside. There seems to be a lot of lag time, though, unfortunately, with them, where they're kind of sat stagnant towards the bottom of T-mid.
Yeah, not really. I like the early aggression they like to take towards this banana position, but then they need to actually try and do something with it, as we see that Molotov come in for the new boxer's position, but nobody's going to be holding that, and they're just going to be backing off, expending their utility and not really doing much off the back of it. I can't really see how that's going to work out for them. I can see how it's now pulling off one of those players to rotate over in the form of Wild True Fork. But unless they were to jump on the back of that rotation, obviously they can't see it like we do, but now Dreamwalker is going to be shot in the back. If he doesn't check this angle, he checks it, but doesn't have the reaction time to do anything with it, and Box just picks up 2 easy kills.
Afraid is just going to work on these guys. That M44 is super accurate if you've got the right spray control. Definitely a more favourite gun over the M41S, if I'm honest, personally speaking. And he made it work. I mean, that's just clean kills from Red Hat there. 6-2 into round 9. I'm interested to see what Checkpoint can do as far as the CT side is concerned. You know, there's a lot of argument with this map, especially as to whether it's CT or T side, and I'm almost positive all the armchair critics that are going to be sitting in the background watching this game on Twitch will have their own opinions as to whether it's CT or T side. Ooh, that's a nice grenade. For me, it's definitely a CT side.
Well, Red Hat are certainly making it seem that way so far, being up 6-2, 4-round advantage, and Checkpoint not really showing much in terms of fight back at the minute. They did get that 1 round, but that was only their first round after I think it was the pistol that they lost, they won. And now just Red Hat seem to be going away with the game, just locking down both of these bomb sites and not allowing Checkpoint any play whatsoever.
There's just no room to maneuver with it. You know, there's no room to kind of like escape from, essentially. You know, and they keep locking themselves down in these positions where they're very heavy-handed defenses. This is a weird play as well. Sorry, I stopped there because I was looking at the minimap to see exactly what was going on. Ooh, Nox takes 1, he takes the second fight as well. He starts to lay rounds towards where the other opponent would have been, but Ryan is already around the corner, so in a position to work that angle, and wow, True Folk just got taken completely out of that fight instantly.
We're now down to a 3-on-3. Nox is trying to hold this A bomb site alone, but a flying weeb trash through the air takes his head off his shoulders, and now it's all down to Masalado in this 1 versus 2. Bomb is not down, only 16 seconds left on the clock. Actually dropped on the A bomb site, and now weeb trash picks it up, and it's going to secure that bomb plan, enabling this 2v1 situation to come in for themselves.
Things you thought you'd never say on a Saturday night, right? Flying weeb trash. Yeah.
Masalado now gets up the first kill onto Weave Trash and actually baits out the peak from Kuo, and now another relatively easy round secured for the Red Hat side. And Steve, I think we're missing out the true winners of this map. The true winner and true sidedness of this map is obviously towards the chickens.
Yeah, I've just seen that in chat as well. Sneak Attack, thank you very much for confirming my bias that it's towards the human players as opposed to the chicken AI that are running around. So yeah, I appreciate that massively.
Let's be honest, who dies the most on this map? The players or the chickens?
Chickens.
Exactly.
Chickens tend to if I'm playing. There's definitely a lot of chicken abuse in this game. I will be completely honest. More often than not, it's in higher level matchmaking games or even sometimes in the pro games where chickens are most sort of sought after. Now, when you hit the chickens, is it because you can't aim? Or are you intentionally aiming for the chickens? Oh, wait 1 second. Reese is going to try to get a kill here from inside stairs. Frave is just destroying things on mid. Like, you can't argue with the guy destroying. That's a bad molly, though.
He's safe, that's all that matters. He managed to get himself back into this pit position with no chance of a refrag for the checkpoint side, as now they're gearing up once again towards this A bomb site, not being very successful here so far, only managing to gain a couple of plants, and Farave now lines up the nade for the app's balcony position. Actually, nobody checking pit as he manages to go unnoticed. The bombs are being planted in the open for him, and somehow they're still the T's are still alive. A collective 110 HP between them. Not even that, just about 100 between 3 players against the 274 of the CTs. You don't see this going the way of checkpoint right here.
No, you don't. There's got to be well-placed shots coming from the CT side. I mean...
Oh my.
Oh wow. A 2 HP Dream wins it for checkpoint. I think we wrote off checkpoint too early in that round.
Oh, admittedly, yeah. I think we did.
Giving it an exact count, it was 102 HP between 3 players. And they made it work somehow. I'll be completely honest with you.
I don't think
that org was the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I've casted games for like big companies, small companies. I've casted games for everywhere and everywhere you could possibly imagine. I genuinely think that might have been the worst org play I've ever seen in my entire life. Even worse than my own org plays. Oh.
God, that must have been terrible then.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. MP9
yeah, I was just gonna have a nice chilled out conversation about over this round because I didn't think there was going to be much to come of it, but Red Hat are making it work with the lesser weaponry, and now it's all down to Reese on this P90 alone. The bomb is dropped towards bottom of banana, and the CTs have full control.
This is the thing about it, though, as well. If they're dropping guns, they're picking up AKs, they're re-upping themselves into a position where they've got a better chance of fighting through. Reese with the P90, he's got full HP and he's got full armor as well as head armor. Okay, he's in a very good position himself. When you counter that with 3 AKs, full head armor and body armor for 3 players as well, there's a lot of work that needs to go into it for Reese to even be able to pull back a 1v3 like this. No utility for him, no utility for any of the CT players. He's not got bomb, he's in a really bad position. And he tries to do the flying weeb trash. That's my new favourite quote of the evening, by the way. But unfortunately doesn't pull it off, and Reese does fall. 8-3 into round 12, and we're in the latter stages of the first half of the first map of this first map of best of 3.
Yeah, and of course after this map we do move on to Overpass, of course picked by the checkpoint side. So hopefully, in fact no, actually I think this map was picked by checkpoints. So the fact that
I can actually check.
I think the fact that Red Hat are so far ahead on their map pick is showing good signs for them as they are quickly wrapping through this CT spawn now. It's all down to Masalado with his AK managing to only do some damage onto the first attacking player, and now it's all down to Tobias holding from new boxes on this B-bomb site. He's going to be facing Kuo first. Easy kill to pick up. Now Weeb Trash perusing towards the position. Actually picks up a second Tobias. Is he going to go huge and get all 3? No, he's not. Reese takes him down, and then Farave comes in to finish that round off.
I think asking for the third was a big ask. It was a possibility. Don't get me wrong. Like, there was a moment there where I was with him and I was like, right, we're going to do this. We're going to get all 3 kills. But he did a really good job of delaying enough to let the CT rotation come in, and Thrive is there then to kind of back him up. This is actually Checkpoint's map pick as well.
Yeah.
I double checked, and it is actually their map pick. So, you know, one of the things I tend to talk about quite a lot, and you know, you'll know this, I've been working with me for quite some time, is I like to talk about the mentality of it. If you lose your map pick, that has a big impact as far as tournaments are concerned. Whether you're a pre-made team, whether you're a mixed team or whatever, if you've picked that map, you've picked it for a reason, and to lose your map is not fun. On your Edson, Frave just taking a grenade to the dome and slowly backing off out the staircase. Thing is, he knows not to make that much noise here, you know, in the sense of like running away from that grenade. You know, the incendiary you can make a fair bit of noise with, because that's going to cover his footsteps at least anyway, and they already know that someone's there logically because the incendiary that's been thrown. Nice little position there, in fact, looking straight through into the grill. Go back away from it a little bit too quickly in my eyes. Tobias does get taken down by the Dream. He is 100% a Luke player. Like, I think that's confirmed now, right? We're both happy with that?
Yeah, definitely. He's actually playing really well with these lurks. He's managing to pick up frags, and that frag onto the B bomb site. It's drawn that wrong rotation player who usually plays as archers, and now he's got to rotate back in towards this A bomb site as his teammate on Wild True Fork is left alone. Now a 2v1 situation once again for the Checkpoint side, and Nox rotating in quickly, manages to catch the planter before he rotates off and into his post-plant position.
Had no choice really. Kuro didn't have to stick the bomb. Also, it goes without saying, don't be a loser, buy a diffuser. You know, how long have we sat there for then waiting for that diffuser to come in? Come on, buy it. Just buy a diffuser.
They are 7 rounds ahead. I don't think they're too worried about the bomb being planted and exploding at this point, seeing as there's only been 1 bomb explosion so far in the game. So,
well, they seem to be listening to us at least anyway. Either that or telepathically told them, but they've all bought diffusers now. So I'm happy. If you're Q is at IGL. If you're Q now, what are you doing, or what are you saying to your teammates to kind of spur them on a bit more, maybe, and try to get more rounds out of this? You can't exactly wait for half time, right?
No, I think they're trying this B bomb site once again, as they have noticed they're getting that early banana control, and just being able to cause issues for this CT side, as already we're seeing the rotation coming out. But with Masalado on this boost, if they don't check it, which the first player doesn't, Kuro just swings around the corner and gets his head taken clean off his shoulders. Now a 4 versus 2 situation. Make it 3 now for Nox and Wild True Fork. Nox already in ruins. Bomb is down. Terrorists are already set up in their post-plant positions.
You still favour Nox for this fight, though, at least anyway. Dream has been very, very good as far as KD ratio is concerned. Same for Weeb, but you do feel Nox is maybe that little bit more of an advantageous player. Get taken down though, and Dreamwalker shuts me up immediately by taking both Dream down and True Fork as well out of that fight. 10-4 into the final round of the first half.
Yeah, and you feel that Checkpoint really need to take this last round in order to give them a chance coming into this second half on their CT side. Checkpoint really, really desperately need to take this final round.
I'd be happy with 5. If I'm on a losing side like that, I'd be happy with 5 going into a T side. I say be happy with 5. I'd be happier with 9. But I'd be happy with 5 going into the second half of this map. Again, it's their pick, so you know. Are we going to see a completely different side on CT side? You know, long, drawn-out fights. That first pick will go in favour of Checkpoint, however.
Brave's going unchecked here. He's behind the entire team. And they have no idea Brave's going to be able to pick up 2 here. Oh! I'm actually incorrect. Ryan K finishes off his teammate in the form of Reese, and now it's all down to QO alone, the IGL unfortunately not able to do much in that situation, and now 11-4 half, Steve.
Yep. I mean, I would have been happier going in with 5. It was a very good half, very good first kind of half of the first match for you and I to cover in this fall tournament. I'm excited for more things to come, though. I mean, I want to see now what Checkpoint can do on a CT side. Obviously, we'll get the name swapped over on the top. There we go. We'll swap ready for you, so no one's confused. I'd be interested to see what they can do with the CT hold. I mean, it looks like they're splitting it 3-2, which is definitely wise if you're in a losing side perspective. You want to hold 3 on one side at least. It is unfortunate though it's on the wrong side that the 3 on hold has gone.
Yeah.
And as I'm in the process of saying it, they take the side over. So Red Hat are bomb planted, waiting for rotations to come in. Trash taking out the fight. Kyo is next up on the firing line.
Yeah, these USPs not really being able to put up much of a fight against the fury of the clocks, just running and gunning and aiming for your head. There's not much you can do unless you've got that amazing aim control and can take off the heads. QO actually nearly doing something. Macedo taking down his teammate and potentially putting that into an awkward situation for the Red Hat side right there.
Definitely, especially if if QO was able to get that first pick, which would have been the opposite of the team kill. That would have been very nice to have seen, but I don't know. I mean, 12-4, you kind of, like, part of me wants to sit here and go, this game is over with already. This map is done. Roll on map 2. Let's get the next one over and done with as well. And let's see it knock out to map 3, especially the way that Red Hat are playing. But realistically, you still see some fighting in this Checkpoint team.
As we do see Ryan pick up a quick kill onto Nox, does the damage on the second, and the flank comes out from... maybe not. Macedo's got different thoughts as it's all now down to Dreamwalker on this PT50. Looking to see if he can maybe get an extra frag here or there. Unfortunately, not able to do anything with that P250 in hand, and round 17 goes the way of Red Hat.
13-4. What a very awkward situation to be in, as far as Checkpoint is concerned. Their map pick, and it's not really going the way that they want it to. I want them to come back to, you know me. I love an underdog story. Yeah. Like, one of my favourite things in the entire world is an underdog story. So, I would like to see Checkpoint come back, take this to map 3, but realistically, it's not looking that way at the minute. But I'm still going to back them nonetheless, because I like an underdog.
We've seen how they've performed so far into this game, and with it being their map pick, you'd expect them to come out the stronger side, but it seems like they're quite unmatched against this Red Hat side. Obviously, the Red Hat side having a Supreme, an LLAM, and an MG1. We don't, unfortunately, know the average ranks of the Checkpoint side, as we see Reese now playing around the smoke, trying to gain some information as we do the Dreamwalker actually going down quite early into that push. Now all down to Reese, managing to pick the first, actually, and the second, nearly picking up the third onto Tobias here on the site with that Mac 10. And now this is a doable situation for the Checkpoint side. 4 versus 2 retake. The weaponry is in their favour. Only Mac 10s left on this terrorist side, and Waltrue 4 left alone, manages to pick up first, actually gets the spray onto the second, and another team kill coming out.
I really want us to have, we need to find someone that can do stats for us for these games. This game especially. Because that's got to be the 5th, maybe 16 kill that we've seen.
It's certainly a high number. It's higher than I'm used to casting anyway.
Yeah. I like it though. It's a nice change up, you get too complacent watching teams that don't do TKs and don't accidentally do a ton of damage to their teammates. I'm also interested to see if the way that the server is set up, will it kick for doing too much team damage? I hope it doesn't, obviously, but nonetheless, it would add another bonus feature into this map. We should all sit here and place bets on the first play to get for too much team damage. I think that would be another highlighter.
Let's just see where that grenade just went from Reese.
Yeah, that's not good.
Come on, Reese.
That ain't it. That definitely ain't it. I mean, there's the grenade that you want, and then there's that grenade, you know?
Now that's how you throw a
I gotta be
grenade.
honest. Yeah, I was going to say, that is exactly what you want to see from a T-side perspective. Just getting that man out of that corner. Push him into an awkward position, and Dream's having to play it out in the middle of...
through the smoke.
Oh. You get an F in chat there for Macedonia for getting shot straight through smoke out like that. Brave 1v4. MP5, sorry, MP5, what am I on about? Mac 10 in hand.
You never know, you've seen stranger things happen. Seeing as Weave Trash he wasn't focused towards this position, seems to have the idea now, and Brave, unfortunately, not spotting out the legs underneath quad. Checkpoint.
I was about to say, a trade up from that gun to an M4, or even to his fallen buddy's AK that was in that corner as well. Anything can happen.
Definitely.
Like, anything could happen once you got that trade up, but yeah, he's just not able to see through that dark under area. I know. I don't actually know what else that is.
It's usually quad.
Oh yeah, but there's like a specific one for up top, and there's a specific
you've
one
got boost. You've got boost, and then you've just got
boost
usual quad.
Top, yeah.
Quick
See,
early
my brain
kills.
is not working.
Quick early kills into this round. 1-on-1 trade coming out. Checkpoint really seem to be grinding their way back into this game, and they've got the perfect opportunity to do so with a less than optimal buy for the Red Hat side. Only that one AK, a couple of upgraded pistols across the board. That AK, I think, was actually picked up off a dead body, in QO actually picking up another of his own. That AWP in hand, and Reese had one of his own. He had an of his own, and now has nothing. As we see his dead body just lying behind what is now called barrels, formerly car.
Bring it back to taxi, that's what I say. I'm old school like that, unfortunately. I'm a very older gentleman that played CS back in the dark days of Counter-Strike. My 3,000 hours spent in CS, on this account at least anyway. Spent quite a lot of time in Inferno and in Mirage. Oh, first pickup. Oh, that re-peak. You love to see it. You really do love to see it. Oh, can we get that man a cookie? That is like, that 3K is choice. That's exactly what I want to see, at least anyway, as a commentator.
Yeah, Dreamwalker actually doing great to pick up the 3-piece there and get another round on the board for his team. And you wanted to see an underdog story, Steve. It looks like it's happening so far. Very much a reinvigorated side coming out for the Checkpoint team right here, and I'm excited to see how this game finishes up.
Same. I'm still in awe of that 3K there. That's I love that. that's a nice little 3-piece meal there for him. So he'd be definitely happy with it. We will fall down, however. Frey is not too far behind in dying as well, also. And yeah, I mean, like, underdog story as far as underdog stories go, this is shaping up to be quite a nice one so far. I said we need to see what they're like on CT, and we are.
Yeah, certainly putting up a stronger showing than they did in the first half now, and I think Red Hat have something to actually think about coming into the second half. Not actually managing to put up, only managing to put up the singular 2 rounds at the start of the game after winning that pistol, but now not really looking too confident going into these terrorist rounds. Ryan, time to swing wrong, and unfortunately goes down, but Dreamwalker coming in again, clutch with 2 kills of his own, but all down to Reese now, who was holding solo on this B-bomb site.
Reese is going to be super, super patient to retake this side. He hasn't got a defuse kit either. That's the kind of negative side of this.
Doesn't even look like he's attempting yet. Picking up the AWP and running away. Probably the best bet in this situation.
I mean, a 1v2 like that, you can get away with taking the site. You know, we've seen it happen before with players with full HP. I think the stickler for this, and I think a lot of people will agree as well, he's got no utility, first and foremost. He's got no flashes for the entry. He's got no smokes to kind of block position, should he need to block position. He doesn't really have a lot going with him to do the retake, outside of HP difference. I mean,
no.
and even then, he's still going to get a 1v2 with a potential loss of an ult. Yeah, I'd agree with him. Pick up the ult, double back. Okay, we got 14-7. There's still 2 rounds left in it for them, you know. There's still that fight in them to get those rounds back, to bring it back to level pegging. Although they've only got 2 rounds of mistakes to make, and that's it. So, yeah, I think the AWP is definitely worthwhile bringing into the fight for this one. I was about to eat my words, then I thought Kyo was going to go for it and peek straight up mid and lose that AWP immediately, but thankfully he didn't.
Well, we are seeing the dual AWP setup actually coming out for the first time this game. I think, from what I can recall, Kyo and Reese picking one up, holding their either side of the map respectively, as we're seeing already this Red Hat side perusing and trying to gain some information about this B-bomb site, figuring out who's here, what kind of weaponry there is, and whether they actually feel like they want to try and execute onto this B-bomb site. And looks like they're opting against it, slowly making that rotation back towards mid and try and take this A-bomb site, I'd imagine.
Can you blame them? I mean, A has been probably the easiest one for them to take so far. We've seen them do it once or twice in the second half. Kyo will stop things, though, as Tobias falls immediately. That's a very good smoke, however, and that's going to buy a little bit of time for them. They'll wait for the first pop, and Kyo is like clockwork on the shot straight away. We will take down one, and Ryan also taking it further away. And this is a whole checkpoint at the minute as they start racking up those kills. True Folk, you back off. You save the... You save... I mean, I would. I probably wouldn't save that gun, though. I'd maybe try and get yourself an AK or an ult. There's 1 or 2 out there for them to pick up.
I think at this point he probably knows he's already being hunted, so he just wants to try and get into a safe position and ensure that his life is not taken away from us. As we do see Dreamwalker making his way towards this position. Treefork's not really watching towards the angle, but manages to adjust his spray accordingly, and now Weeb Trash is going to get there in time. I don't think it is. The time is just about to go, and there we go. Weeb Trash not actually managing to find that final kill into that round, as another round goes towards checkpoints.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but I'm not going to now. I'm gonna keep my words to myself. 14-8, come on the checkpoint, boys. You know, I'm definitely still rooting for them. You know. Oh, the other scope. That's me in CS all over. That is just saying. You know, that's me completely. Oh, unscope here, and I'll start my reload. Why not? And then all of a sudden, there's like 4 of them in view. I could have got a 3-man collat and all that kind of stuff. Nightmare. It doesn't even look like mid's the direction they end up pushing anyway. They've already taken Banana over completely, and Red Hat are starting to kind of ramp up the pressure as far as the round differences are concerned. Eco round like this, throw everything into a site. 9 times out of 10 you see from an eco round, they'll just all push mid and try and get picks. But as far as Red Hat are concerned, they are being a bit more tactical with it. And I kind of like the way that the tactics are coming in from it. They've still got a lurk player out there. They can't push Dream one at a time. That's the big issue. Knocks the lurk player, takes out his man. As I was saying, you know, they can't push Dream singular. They push 2-man onto him, but, you know, Tobias is already nowhere to be seen. He's like, I'm done, boys, I'm out, thank you. I'll back off and I'll meet up with Nox. Up on A site and manage to get the bomb plant down. That's good economy for them as well. They need to get post plant positions early. Nox is on super low HP, so he's going to need to be the early warning system essentially for Tobias.
Yeah, and around
Tobias that
we didn't really give much thought to originally. We were just having a chat and having a conversation due to it being an eco round has actually turned away into Red Hat's favour, and now potentially looking to break the economy of the CT side, as we see Tobias picking up the first, now dancing around this smoke trying to find Dreamwalker. Dreamwalker's walked right by him, spraying through the smoke now, and time is too much. Time has ticked too far, and
Nice.
that puts Red Hat onto game point. Map point, should I say.
Yeah, match point. Well played from your Red Hat. Again, we were talking, just having a conversation more or less over that round, because your eco rounds tend to be those kind of very quick rounds that are over with very urgently, very quickly. You push all mid or you push all one site and that's it, everyone dies. And they get maybe a pick or two out of it. But realistically, Red Hat did everything right as far as that pistol round is concerned. They took their time with it. They were very patient with it. They knew not to overstep the mark on specific sites, and they made the most of the 2 minutes they had available.
Yeah, Reese picking up this early frag onto the banana position is now. How has Weeprash ended up in this position behind Wild True Fork? And that's 2 early frags going the way of checkpoint now, and Nox managing to get one back himself. Oh, this is going to be a swinging round right now. Dreamwalker on this MP5 looking for another, unfortunately unable to find anything. Now down to QO and Weeprash to try and salvage this first map in this best of 3.
He takes a face full of fire from that incendiary grenade. That will go down. And this, unfortunately, I believe, is the end for checkpoint, unless QO can do something very, very big with that UMP. No.
Unfortunately not, and that is game 1, well, map 1 of this best of 3 going the way of, well, Red Hat. I was going to say checkpoint then, but it's quite obviously not checkpoint, being that 16-8 scoreline, and that is first map of this best of 3 finished. We move on to Overpass next. Steve, what do you expect to come out from this checkpoint side to try and bring them back into this best of 3 series?
It's okay, so that was Checkpoint's map pick. They're going into Red Hat's map pick now. On a map that is very, very much determined by the starting side, as far as how your game will progress with it. I feel we're going to probably see a lot more of Dream being very much the lurk that we've seen so far. Overpass loves a lurk. It's probably one of the better maps for lurk players to really play with. There's so many little nooks and crannies they can kind of hide within. There's so many rotation plays they can put into it as well. But I'm hopeful that the Checkpoint boys can put it back in some way. If not, though, I think we're in for a good match nonetheless.
Yeah, and just before we do move on to that second map of this best of 3, we are going to take a short break just whilst we allow the players to have a short break themselves, maybe go to the toilet and whatnot, and refresh themselves and get them ready for this map too. So stick with us, don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly, hopefully with map 2 of this best of 3.
See you soon.
Hello everybody and welcome back. We are back with the Corporate Esports Association. Map 2 of this best of 3. Red Hat taking the first map with relative ease, 16-8 the ending scoreline, and we're already going into map 2. Steve, what are your predictions after that first map of this best of 3? What are your predictions going into map 2?
I'm still back in the underdog here. I'm still feeling Checkpoint, personally. Obviously, this is Red Hat's pick, so I don't want to be biased. I would assume that Red Hat have picked this for a specific reason, being that it's their favorite map or whatever map they're going to want to play from here on through. But realistically, anything could happen. So I'm interested to see how Checkpoint kind of compete against the T side.
Well, already seeing some early aggression coming out from the Red Hat side, just running all the way through mid, straight onto this long position now, and taking down that first early kill onto Ryan K's Knox, who we've just learned in the break is actually from the UK, which is where, if you hadn't guessed, both myself and Steve are located just now on this. How are they making this happen? 16 health between them. They're actually in an advantage situation right now. The bomb is down on this A bomb site, and now for Rave on this Glock, all he needs is one shot onto both players.
Oh, did he see the leg then?
I think he did.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, he did. He definitely saw the leg. Timing is everything here. You want to that one, and then you want to look for the second player. Switch,
no.
Nicely done. Oh, okay, that was very, very nice from him. Timing is everything with those backstab kills like that. You don't go for the knife, obviously, in that scenario. You want to try and get as much intel as you can, but he had to take the shot earlier than I think he would have wanted to, specifically because the player obviously turned into him. But nicely done, nonetheless. Very, very happy with that. 1-0 going into round 2.
Yeah, Red Hat already taking this early aggression that we see and take in the first game. If I could talk properly, that would help. It's just not really too much aggression coming out from the Checkpoint side. We're seeing Dreamwalker just jumping over that wooden wall there, just trying to gain a little bit of information. Does spot out the player in the form of Wild True Fork, whilst Nox picks up a nice early kill towards mid, and he's already got a player behind him. I don't think he knows about this, and QO with a nice easy 2 taps to the head takes this round back into a 4-on-4 situation.
Nicely done for Q though. I mean, that backstab again is very nicely done. This is one of those maps where you can afford to see a lot of backstabs happening. That goes without saying. That's the alert of players coming into the fray quite a fair bit. It's a heavy push into site, but it's only going to go T side perspective because Tobias is there with that heal. White is there with a Mac 10. Mace Loader is Mace Loader. Yoda. How are we pronouncing that? Because he's actually said there is no right way to pronounce his name, so I'm going to go with Mace. Let's go with Mace.
Let's go with Mace. That works for me, as we see.
Yeah.
Red Hats pick up the second round into the second map. Checkpoint again, not looking too hot, coming off the back of that loss on the first map of Inferno. Of course, if this does go the way of Checkpoint, which will be surprised, it's not their map pick. They weren't looking too strong after map 1. We will be going to map 3 of Nuke, which a lot of people know this about me, is my favourite map of the Counter-Strike series. And I love casting. I love watching it. It's such a great map. It's so exciting. The rotations can be so fast, as we see Mace already picking up 2 rounds into this third round now. Checkpoint still not looking like they're even showing up in this game so far.
Nicely from Dream holding that long sight. Takes the first and
Actually
second,
manages to pick up 3.
It's not enough though, is it? Oh, it is.
It is now, with Weeb and Reese coming in with a pincer, and now Checkpoint pick up their first round of the second map. I don't really think we can put that down to skill. I think it was just unfortunate timing for the Red Hat side. They weren't. They didn't really have an idea of where the counter-terrorists were in that situation.
Yeah, like I said, it didn't feel like they were in sync, if that makes sense. Their positioning was a little bit off. You know, they were not all over the place as such, but there was moments in that round where you're like, well, you're two-man stacked on a single position rather than having two-man split. So it's kind of it's an awkward one. But again, we're not watching professional players as such, and we're watching guys that ordinary working men and women, enjoying themselves and playing computer games in the evening for the tournament. So yeah, I wouldn't expect them to have like that kind of playability in that sense. Although we're seeing quite a lot of nice things from them, in the sense of smokes, the flashes, the utility use. You don't expect to see quite as good of players you would if you're watching, for example, like Team Liquid or, like Cloud9 or whoever your favorite professional team may be. Yeah. I have none. I'm not biased.
A slow round coming out for Red Hat this time, as we see ReaperSteve actually picks up that first onto Nox on the short position, and now the A push is actually coming out for Red Hat right now. They've managed to pick up the first. There's only Dream here to try and stop them in this A control.
Nicely done from Dream. I really like this player. I think he's very, 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 very good on the rotation, and he's been very, very good at catching players out with their backs turned. Okay, he's 1v1. Well, I say 1v1. There's his teammates, but we're talking in this specific situation. He's 1v1 against a Deagle with low HP. He's always going to win that fight. But the fight prior to that, he's behind again, and he's just switching his play up to get into those lurk positions, and it's working nicely for them. 2-2 into round 5.
Yeah, this game is already looking a lot more balanced than the first round or first map of this best of 3 series. That first map really went the way of Red Hat. I think they were 9-3 up at one point in that first half. So if Checkpoint can keep up the momentum that they've got into this second map, it might look a little bit more positive for them, and we could potentially see that third map of Nuke coming into the fray.
And we're yet to see a flying weeb trash. I'm thinking of like that as well.
Oh, the timing on the door open was just perfect for Cure in that situation, but Tobias quickly with the refrag. And now this 3-man stack on this B bomb site actually looks like it's going to work out for the Checkpoint side, as we see all of the Red Hat side already here, and Weave Trash on the barrels right now. He's going to swing out, manages to pick the first up, but not the second. Now all alone for Ryan, the solo A player, and that 3-man stack on the B bomb site there really didn't do much for the Checkpoint side whatsoever.
No, I did not.
Bomb has been planted.
Ryan can go big here, see. He can still potentially take out one, as long as he checks that dead angle on the left. He does, but he checks it lower, not high.
Yeah, the off angle there being up on that little boosted bit of concrete there really throws a lot of players off. Yes.
Yeah, it really does. It genuinely does throw you off quite a fair bit in that position, and it's not what you expect at the end of the day. Like, you expect players to be in the dead ground below in pit, and to get caught out like that, you'll probably be kicking himself as a result of it. But you'll learn a lesson, at least anyway, that this isn't normal scrims. This is people can be anywhere scrims, and people can be anywhere is what we've seen for the last match last map and a bit.
Yeah, Red Hat seem to be favouring this B side quite a lot, already making their way towards it, throwing down the utility, trying to gain some of that control that they've taken so easily in the past. And Weave Trash is actually going to go unchecked in this position. Nobody has any idea. It's the Red Hat teams on short have not even checked it, and now Weeb can just swing out and stop the plant. This is going to be huge from Weeb right now. Managed to pick up the second and the third, and now only Weeb alone has to ace to save the round, and he tried his best, but his best was not enough, unfortunately. And what could have been an exciting round for the Checkpoint side, unfortunately, the balloon deflates, and it's just now on the floor in a pile of cold, dead rubber. I don't know what that analogy was. I'm so sorry.
We've sat up in picnic going, everything is great. The MP5 is brilliant. I'm really enjoying it. And then all of a sudden, everything just went just downhill from there. That 3-man stack, though, that's definitely something that's worth writing home about. Okay, Deagles. Alright. We're not going to talk about that. We'll come back to that in a minute. Eco rounds, they're going to throw everything at it, which is what they're doing at the minute. They're taking, like, really, really, like, pushed forward positions they wouldn't normally expect just to get this round over with. But realistically, they want to pick, and they're not going to get one.
Yeah, Red Hat's showing their superiority into the second map after that first very dominant first map of Inferno, ending 16-8 in the favour of Red Hat, and already a 3-round advantage into the second map. We felt like that maybe Checkpoint was showing a different side of themselves after that first map. Feels like we're returning back to the slow, not so great ways of Checkpoint.
But, I mean, we say that, but we definitely saw them bounce back in the second half. So, anything could happen.
Yep, definitely.
I want to see what's going to happen more. I want to see a bit more, maybe... Okay, the flip side of this is that when we go into T-side, Checkpoint can be as aggressive as they are now. What they need to understand is that the aggression they're pushing out on these sites doesn't need to be as kind of far and overextended as we've seen so far in the first 6 rounds. What we saw them play very well was the first 2 rounds where they won, where they weren't overextending. They kind of reserved themselves a little bit. They allowed Red Hat to push themselves into it, and they allowed clean rotations into the background of it. I want to see more of that, realistically, from a CT side perspective from Checkpoint, because that's what we see them playing quite well. Slow rounds like this is where we see Checkpoint kind of come out in their own a little bit. It does also play into the thing of like, oh, do I need to rotate because I'm not yearning to get up towards the site? Wow, that was a nice clean headshot from Kyo. Or onto Kyo, I should say, from Mace.
Yeah, and now they're just going to explode onto this A bomb site, but the CTs, they're already here, they're already holding these crosses, already holding these rotations, and now Dreamwalker is in the position to end it all, holding from behind the little truck towards bank, and that bomb going down. That timer is now started, and now the CTs have to work quick. Two defuse kits across them, but they're not. The C's aren't even facing in a situation. This is going to be extremely hard for the CT to get back into, but Reese with that first kill, managing to pick up one, actually swings onto long for the second, can't find anything, and now all down to Weeb Trash, picks up the first. Does he realise there's a second there? I don't think he does.
I don't think he does, no. Yeah, he does. What was the removal of the silencer? What was going on there?
I think that may have been a misclick.
that was 100% a panic mannequin moment. You know what I mean? Like, that's old school gamer talk, by the way. Panic mannequins, where you immediately do something and you go, "Why have I done that for? I didn't mean to do this. I'm in the middle of the open, and I just instantly started taking my suppressor, stopped my rifle from firing at him." No, again, unfortunate plays. 6-2 though into round 9, and we're heading into the latter stages of the first half of the second map of this best of 3. And it is definitely going in Red Hat's favour so far. We'll both agree on that. Let's push from Checkpoint to come behind.
They had all the information they needed.
Yep, exactly. Tobias just had to sit there, basically. Will this go unchecked again? It can't go unchecked. It has gone unchecked. And Weeb was able to do the same thing he did 2 or 3 rounds ago, but he will fall immediately afterwards. Gotta check your corners, boys. You have to check your corners. I am the worst person for it. I will never check my corners, and I'll always tell players, you need to check your corners, man. You need to check your corners. And then I will stream myself while I'll play in a charity tournament or whatever, and someone will immediately go to me. Remember he said for me to check my corner? You didn't do it in round 3, 5, 6, 7, what? Like, they'll list off all the rounds that I didn't do it in. So check your corners, please, for the love of goodness.
Yeah, I don't know why Checkpoint really haven't cottoned on to what Red Hat are doing here. They've gone B almost every single round of this first half, and it's working out. And Nox, that's just sees Reese holds left click, headshot.
That's that EU CS mentality. That is right there.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that there's a divide between EU and NA. I promise I'm not saying that. We're all one big happy family as far as CS is concerned.
All down to Ryan K and QO in this 2 versus 4 situation. Make that it was 2 versus 5, now 2 versus 4. Nox is already hunting for these kills, and actually Checkpoint picks up a second into this round, doing some more economical damage towards this Red Hat side.
The idea that Ryan was checking ladder immediately. He was like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, not gonna happen. Tobias does fall in the end as a result.
Terrorists win.
8-2 in the round 10 though. A very healthy lead into Seaside for Red Hat. You need a healthy lead into Seaside if you're on this map, as far as I'm concerned. This again is one of those maps where it's open season as far as whether it's CT or T side. What's your opinion on it, Jakey? T or C? Or CT?
For this map, I'd definitely say it's more CT sided. You've just got all those little extra angles, and the rotations are relatively quick between the 2 bomb sites. It does tend to favour the CT side in the majority of matches that I watch and play, which is a rarity these days, but it does tend to favour towards the CT side. But unless Checkpoint do something big and start to step up their game, it doesn't look like that is the case, as we see a quick early trade going on for Rave, going down in short, but then quickly traded out by Nox from this connector position.
Stacking up those flashbangs ready to make a bit of noise towards water, but this bomb does look as though it's not going to be going down towards B site. They're going to switch it back up and potentially take it towards A. As cluster of Nox is just Nox on fire tonight. KD ratio is going to be pretty good after the first map, and it's probably even better into map 2 now as well. At the end of this round, could we check the KD ratios if possible?
Definitely.
It's always good working with someone who's producing and observing at the same time. You'd be like, I want to see this, and they go, yeah, no worries, I can do that.
Dreamwalker now trying to hold off this A bomb site alone. He's going to be lurking in this smoke, trying to see if he can catch timing on any of these terrorist players, but I think Long's gone unchecked by Red Hat side right now, and Kyo is just going to use that to his advantage. Just peeks out from Long and takes down Mesa with no fight back whatsoever, and now bomb site has fallen. While True Fork is left alone in a 1 versus 2, the bomb gets tapped, the smoke goes down. Fork thinks they're on it and just rushes towards the bomb site, and of course they're not. They were waiting for that peak to come out, and Checkpoint get their 3rd round on this board into the 2nd map.
Tobias is in an unfortunate position as well as anchor player. He's in a position where he's not. His post-plan position wasn't ideal. You know, he's standing towards the back of Optimus. There's not a lot of cover for you to really work with. You're going to catch one player out. You're not going to catch a second.
Yep. Definitely.
You know, and if, for example, we saw like we did with Checkpoint, where they're pushing 2 man on site, you're going to catch the first guy up. The second guy is going to know immediately to switch on to you straight away. Was that call out going to be shouting out in Discord or whichever voice platform they're using to communicate with each other, and that's it. It's game over for you. Nox again, just sneaking his way all the way down to Squeaky Door. He's not going to check backside. He is going to check backside, and the only Dreamwalker is taken out of that fight immediately.
Flash, that's a beautiful flash from Mace to allow Tobias to peek off the back of that flash and get a nice easy kill whilst QO was full white, as the saying goes.
I feel like that's a golf clap moment. Very much a golf clap moment.
Very well
You'd
executed.
Love to see it. This is what I'm talking about with this Optimus position. You catch one player, but you're not going to catch a second, and Tobias is able to pick up Risu's in Optimus. Weeb is just in the terrible position of being caught out in a bank, and he's got no real options as far as movement from there. If he moves back to it on a staircase, he's going to get caught up with the man at Optimus. If he moves forward, he's going to get caught up with the man at Long. So, a really just I hate to be in that position if I was him. 9-3 though into round 13 as we come to the almost finishing pieces of this first half. Can we check the scores actually? I
Apologies.
jumped into that last.
Yes.
Yeah, no, don't apologise. That round started a lot quicker than I expected to. 14-6, 16-9. You know, some very, very healthy score lines as far as Red Hat's concerned. We again, though, and Dreamwalker and also Reese still making somewhat of an effort on checkpoint. Ryan and QOB in the IGL needs to perhaps pull up his socks a little bit there. Nonetheless, we'll move into round 13. Bit of a weird buy coming in from CT side. Trade for trade. Ryan and Frey both fall in the end. Weave Trash is last man left standing after that. Ryan's also there as well. Ryan's just cleaned house.
Tobias was in a 1 versus 4, manages to pick up the first 2 kills, and now only needs to find 2 to secure this round, and the ace in his name actually won't be an ace, only be a 4k, but 32 health left on him versus the 74 of Weave Trash. He has the opportunity to get the bomb, but whatever rotation he makes right now is going to be heard by Weeb, and that allows him to quickly rotate back up to the A bomb site, but
he needs to be here. I don't think he's heard it. I think he's heard it, but he's unsure as to whether or not.
I think they're trying to fake each other out.
Yeah, it's not work though, is it? Weave knows that he's going to be pushing now onto B site. He's going to hold this position long enough to be able to get the shots, and he will finish that round out for us. 9-14 in favour of Red Hat still, but definitely a revitalised checkpoint coming into that last round. I love the fake in that though. I'll be honest. Like the both of us are sitting there going, "Wait a minute, he's fake there, but it hasn't really worked out.
No.
Let's see how this plays out."
You'd expect in that situation for at least one of them to start the rotation up to the air bomb site, but neither of them, I think both of them were playing the mind games in that situation, and it worked out in favour of the CT, in the favour of Weeb Trash there, and allows Checkpoint to get their 4th round onto this scoreboard, and now Reese could time this perfectly if Mace does not check. Mace does not, and Reese picks up an easy frag onto him, and now all the information is in the hands of this CT side of Checkpoint. They know where the execution is going to be happening. Reese seeing those rotations coming in.
Oh, slow it down a little bit. I say that because Frave has been doing very, very well with the AK, but that spray control was not there then. I'll be honest, I haven't seen MP5s being used by players in quite some time. I just want to throw that out there. It's a bit of a weird colour commentary moment. I genuinely haven't seen MP5s be used like this for a while, and I'm actually liking it, to be honest with you. I think it's nice to see.
Yeah, it's quite a versatile gun, but it just doesn't really hit the mark in pro gameplay. So it mostly does fall back to these lower leagues where people don't potentially have the advanced knowledge that some of these pro players do, where they've got all of the strat books, they've got coaches and analysts who do come up with crazy, insane amount of things. But no, these are just 5 players sitting down, having some fun together, and at the end of the day, trying to win some money for a charity of their choice.
Mm-hmm. One of the things we haven't really talked about quite a bit, in fact, is obviously the charities. My understanding, if I'm not wrong, is Red Hat are playing for Girls Who Code.
That is
not
correct.
aware of who Checkpoint are playing for.
No. So if you are unfamiliar with what this league is all about, so companies, well, I'd say companies, employees within companies can put forward a team to take part in the league, and then they play for a specific charity. If you place first in the league, then you win a certain amount of money towards the charity of your choice. And yeah, so we did say that Red Hat were playing for Girls Who Code, and unfortunately we don't have the information of who Checkpoint are playing for, but another relatively quiet round coming out, not much action, just one kill for each of the players alive currently on this Red Hat side. As we see QO, his position's gone unchecked right now. He's going to be behind 2. If he plays the trigger discipline, he doesn't have the discipline to do it, but manages to pick up both. with the single spray down from that UMP. All down to Tobias now.
UMP again is not a gun that you see quite a lot. It's nice to see it. Oh, 1 HP versus 16 HP. I see a little bit of utility, just a flashbang in the mix there from QO. I go for this personally.
He has no choice but to. It is last round.
It is last round, so yeah, he doesn't have a choice. My mistake, I couldn't add up there for whatever reason. Oh, he will add up for us though, and he'll take the final frag of that round. With 1 HP. Wowzers.
And there we go. We see the exact same scoreline after the first half that we've seen in the first game. First map, should I say, of this best of 3 series. Another 10-5 half coming out from these teams, and Red Hat being the ones in the driver's seat, driving this game home to their destination. Yep, indeed. Pistol round is a big round here from Checkpoint's positioning, at least anyway. They're going to want to take pistol round to further, lessen the gap between them. We'll switch up the team names in a second. There you go. Yeah, exactly. You're going to want to see Checkpoint taking pistol round on T side, just so they can try and reduce the amount of map difference they've got, or the round difference they've got. Not really much to talk about at this current moment in time, just the terrorist side of Checkpoint trying to gain some information on where some of these CTs are playing from, as Weeb just runs around that corner, but just spraying his gun wildly and gets his head taken off by Tobias, and now just this 3 versus 5 situation. QO actually managing to pick up the late rotation of Nox, and this is actually still doable for the Checkpoint side. Well, it was until that last kill came in, and now it's all down to QO with this Glock in hand. A couple of players are low on the side of Red Hat, but not low enough to be able to gain that extra advantage towards the Red Hat side.
Genuinely could be an early shower for Checkpoint. It's a very much a British thing, that was, that one. Could be an early shower. Could be an early finish. Probably the better way of putting it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, something big needs to happen from Checkpoint's perspective. As far as these rounds are concerned, they're starting to hemorrhage rounds, quite quickly.
Yes.
Again, obviously that's pistol round a second ago, but we saw them play quite well into the first pistol round itself, so what's changed from there to now? But nonetheless, they have got 2 picks at least anyway. Reese there doing some work with the shotgun, the Nova.
All of these kills seem to be going the way of Checkpoint right now, and all down left to Farave and Mace on this M4, and now he's got into the bomb site on scene here. Spots out the first, spots out the second of Ryan, and now actually a quick 1 versus 3. 4K, 4 kills, and the bomb being defused for Mace into that round.
Again, I'm going to do it properly this time, though. We're going to do the golf clap. Ready, everyone? Well done. That was exactly what you want to see. This is what you get when you get someone like myself as a caster. You get like an all-round entertainment system, not only verbally but also with noises. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway, moving forward, 5-12 into round 18. Yeah, swiftly moving on. Someone report Mace is immediately getting pushed up in chat. I think we're early days yet for Mace to get reported. I'd be interested to see what he does into the next couple of games that we've got coming up over the next couple of weeks. But nonetheless, that was a hell of a 3K from him.
Yeah, now we're seeing this advantage being pushed even further for the Red Hat side. Dream trying to gain some of this long control here. Farave on the other side pop flashes himself out, and Dreams wildly sprays into that smoke. Actually manages to pick up Tobias, not the original player of Farave who was there. Mace, on the other hand, does actually pick up a refrag of his own, and now Farave actually spots out the first. Doesn't know there's a second there, and does fall to QO. Mace now trying to hold down this A bomb site. Spots out the first and the second. Mace is going huge into this game right now. 7 kills in the last 2 rounds, and he's looking to make it 8 with Weeb trash on this long position, and does indeed. He's doubled his kill count from the entire first half in 2 rounds. on the second half.
Mace Lido is just going, I would like to finish this early. Let us, how many kills do I need to get to finish this game off, like right now? And it's working out very nicely for Red Hat.
Yeah, Red Hat now 8-round advantage into the second map, and of course if they do take this map, being the map pick of themselves, they do take this game in a quick 2-0 fashion, and now Mace with a pop flash into Connector. He's going to peek it, but no one there, no one on the other side. They're all in this party position as Mace now finds.
Yeah, he's racking up this damage as well. But his ADR's probably doubled as well within the last couple of rounds. I don't think he saw the play across at top of Picnic though. Party, I should say, rather than Picnic. Weave Trash is picked up both by Tobias. The only Dreamwalker will pick up Tobias and Mace Lido immediately afterwards. Frave there getting taken down. Sorry, taking the name down at least anyway. It leaves Q up in a 1v3 with 17 HP? Yeah, 17 HP and 2 flashbangs.
Not really looking in the favour of him, but he does actually manage to pick up the first onto Nox, and now only 2 players left to find, but that bomb isn't in the best position for him to recover. It is just above just up on the picnic area, right next to those balloons, and Kuro is now just trying to gain some information, trying to figure out where these players are playing from, but he's not going to have any information that Farave's actually behind him, but Farave looks away. This time he might work out for Kuro, but he's still being a bit too cautious about where these players are playing from.
He hasn't got a bomb as well. That's the awkward situation about this. Farave's got to have heard him making the jump. Yeah, he has definitely heard him. He's probably feeding intel into Fork. He's got to be coming toilet side. Yeah. If Fork gets this kill, mind, every player on the CT side has got a kill this round. So there you go, everyone got a kill. They shed, yeah, they shed the effort. You know, they shed the momentum into that round. Round 14, round 20, 14-5 in favour of Red Hat still, of course.
Yeah, what do you think that Checkpoint need to do to get themselves back into this game, Steve?
I don't think there's a lot they can do, if I'm honest, and that's not me being, you know, kind of negative about it. Obviously, I back the underdogs every time, but it's too much to ask for when you're this much of a deficit, and you're going up against players like this. Leader's got no kind of like no issues with facing off against players like that in Tunnel. I think it's a big ask for them to try and put it back, you know, so many rounds in deficit like this.
Yeah, just a 4 versus 2 situation. Dream needs to pick up this kill and unfortunately won't. It's all down to Weeb Trash now in a 1 versus 4 scenario to try and take this game away from map point and match point in this best of 3 series.
Indeed. Oh, that's it. I think this is game over, to be honest with you now. 1 round left in it as far as Red Hat are concerned. The money's not the greatest from Checkpoint's position as well. They're going to have to buy in with Khalils and AKs, which we can already see them picking up. Kyo picking up a Khalil. Dream, the only Dream picking up an AK for himself as well. I think this might be a GG.
Yeah, it wouldn't be, well, again, we've seen strange things happen, so I wouldn't put them out of it just yet, but with the players that they're coming up against in the form of Mason, Nox and Tobias just fragging out every single round, you don't really see much of a way back into it for this team, and as I say that, Nox and and Tobias actually pick up kills of their own, and looks like this could be a good game for the Red Hat side, taking it quickly and just so comfortably in a 2-0 fashion. Only Dream left alive. Managing to pick up 1 onto the Tobias, but could he do the unthinkable here, Steve?
I mean, anything could happen. You know,
there we go. A little bit of lag there.
Anything could happen, then all of a sudden the round finished off for us. Very well played from Red Hat. Just perfectly positioned as far as their timing is concerned. They were able to take players out in key positions. They had high impact plays coming in from Mace Lido. there was a lot of good things coming out of that game. And if I'm not mistaken, like we discussed earlier on, the winner of this one went on to play, or goes on to play, Amazon Wallbank services.
Yes, that's correct.
So it'll be interesting to see how that match works out as well for them. I think that is it from us for this evening, at least. Anyway,
We're going to go to a quick break, and hopefully we're going to try and get Mace in from the team of Red Hats. Hopefully we're going to be able to get him on board and get him in for a quick little interview to talk about that game that we just seen take place.
Perfect.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly, and hopefully we'll have Mace on the show with us. So we'll be back shortly.
See you in a minute.
Hello and welcome back. We have Mace on the sidelines, or well, what we've been calling him as Mace. We weren't told a correct way to pronounce his name, so where's the screen gone? Here it is.
Yeah, who better to ask than the man
yes.
himself, isn't it, really?
How would we pronounce your name?
There's no right way to pronounce it, man. It was one of those auto-generated names for school, and I don't know how to pronounce it, so I love hearing
You were
how
like,
people pronounce it.
Miss Ledoux, Miss Ledoux, and then we were like, Mace. Just stick with Mace. At least we know for definite that Mace makes sense, at least anyway.
Yeah, definitely. So,
Yeah.
I was going to say, how was that for you? Like, did you enjoy that game?
Oh, yeah. That was an awesome game. I mean, we've been working pretty hard. You know, we do our weekly practices, and Inferno and Overpass are two maps we really enjoy playing. So it was really great to be able to actually come out with a win there on both of those. So it was fantastic. Really happy with the team.
So pretty happy that Inferno was picked for you then, more or less, rather than having to worry about the first pick coming in.
Yeah, I think so. We weren't, Inferno is probably, we feel pretty good on Inferno, but it might not be the map we would have picked. But either way, we were really still happy to see that it wasn't Vertigo.
Weirdly enough, Jakey won't mind me saying this, and I can already see from the look in his face, he knows exactly what I'm going to go with. We were sitting down pre-match, and we were looking through the scrim, like watching which maps are getting picked, and that's all I heard for like 2-3 minutes while you guys were picking the final map was, please don't be Vertigo, please don't be Vertigo, please don't be Vertigo. Because Vertigo is one of those maps where, like, I don't think anyone really likes it as such, not even casters.
Yeah,
like, I don't like it as a commentator.
Yeah, I can imagine how tough it is commentating it, but I personally like playing it. It's just, it changes so much that it's tough to keep up with, and we've got a few guys who really don't like it, so we didn't spend a lot of time practicing it, but that doesn't mean we're not going to for the next round, if anyone's listening, so...
that was going to be the next thing I was about. Wait a minute,
keep those cards close to your chest.
We practice on it, and I think we do pretty well in it, but that doesn't mean we enjoy it, so...
So going into the second half of that last map, I think you were on around 8 kills, and then in the third and fourth round of that second half, we seen you pick up 4 kills, 4K rounds. What were the comms like at that time? Were you popping off? I can see on your information sheet that you're down as the hype man. Were you really revving the team up, trying to get them going into that second half?
Absolutely. I mean, that whole game, Tobias. Glitch.exe, the guy with the Eastern characters in his name.
Yes.
He was going off the whole game, and we were just trying to build on that and keep that rolling and keep it going. And I realized what I was doing wasn't really working. I was pretty low on this. I was pretty low impact for the most of the first half, and some of the second as well. So I kind of switched it up and started going in connector there, and I think that really helped kind of rebalance our positioning and got our team kind of back in the swing of things, and that really helped us kind of close it out.
Yeah, you definitely see the difference between like the first half and the second half with your utility use as well, being more high impact on the utility use sort of things, pop flashing into water, clearing out pit quicker. There was definitely that like little bit more of a speed momentum that you can kind of see coming in from all the players from Red Hat. So yeah, from a commentator's perspective, you could tell that there was, this is the first time you played against them, this is the first time they played against you. There's a big learning curve for the first like 5-6 rounds where no one really knows what's going on, especially on Overpass, more prevalent on that. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, let's push this one specific site. You're like, well, I think we counted it as like 10 rounds in a row that you went one site only, and we were like, okay, they know that this is the weak area, they know this is the bad rotation area.
Yeah, we just wanted to keep pushing, as long as we knew that was going to work, or we had a hunch that was going to work, we were feeling good. And we really wanted to go off those, almost emotional type plays. Like we knew it might not have been a great idea, but we wanted to keep doing it as long as it was working. I think we may have played Checkpoint preseason, and it was a really close game.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I believe it's a pretty close game. But, we're really,
So next week, awesome. Well, not next week, obviously. Next week being Thanksgiving, you've all got the weekend off. But the following week after, you're going to be facing off against Amazon Warbank Services. Can you give us any insight as to how you're going to prepare going into that game?
Yeah, I think we're just going to practice the same way we've been practicing. We actually spun up a retake server, and that's how we kind of get ready for the map that we're going to play. Usually
like that.
Usually the maps in the season are predetermined, so they're not obviously in the playoffs setup. But I think we're just going to keep doing that and make sure that we don't have any maps that we feel really bad about. I think right now we feel pretty good about most maps, including Vertigo. And I think we're just going to kind of keep building up on that. We're going to look at our past season and see if we've played them before, and if we've played them on a certain map that we did pretty poorly on, we're going to definitely focus on that. So,
any final questions from you, Steve?
No, I really like the retake. That is.
Feel free to
join.
join.
Surprised, but definitely. I'll send you my details, and you can watch me play absolutely horrifically at CS.
Yeah.
There's a saying in the talent community for CS: those who can't play, cast; those who can't cast, observe; those who can't observe, produce; and those who can't produce, do TO. So like I'm in that position where I can't play, but I can't quite do anything else as of yet. But no, genuinely, retake, that's brilliant. That's what a lot of like the EU, the UK scene as far as CS do as well. So it's nice to see that it goes over borders in that sense. In the sense of like what we do over here is the same thing you guys do over there. So yeah, perfect. Nothing really more from me, if I'm honest with you. I really appreciate you jumping in with us to have a chat, and we will endeavour to call you every name under the sun in the right sense of the word, obviously. And the next time that we get to see you.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of it. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mace. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Take care.
You as well.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. First week of playoffs now finished. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you to CEA for getting us on and involved with this show. It's been a lot of fun. That game was very entertaining. Any closing thoughts from you, Steve?
I've seen it in chat, and I'm going to say it again. Flying Weeb's trash is like that is for the evening. That is my quote. I love it. That's the best thing ever. But no, for me, it's been brilliant. I really enjoyed watching the games. It's going to be really interesting to see the rest of the playoffs. Obviously, enjoy your Thanksgiving next weekend. I hope everyone has a really wonderful day. Lots of pumpkin pie, I think, is the right thing. My American friends always say that pumpkin pie is like the best thing about Thanksgiving. I'm probably going to get slated in chat by everyone, but nonetheless, enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend, and we'll be back on December the 5th, same time, same place, with more action for yourselves.
Take care, and good night.